So we arrived at the boat on the 10th of December 2013. This is outside of the boat. It was cloudy in the day. It was a fine day. This boat was first made in 1977. Client for this survey is Dr. Jasper Graham Jones, and this was done at the Boat Shed Broker in Plymouth. As we walk around the boat, the depth sounder looked to be painted over, but as we can tell, it was in pretty good nick. This is the propeller shaft mounting. Looks to be a bit eroded, but again okay. Various hull penetrations seem to be fairly good nick, although no water was run through the system apart from the bilge system, as we'll see later. A few repairs around the hull, as we can see here, but nothing bad. Looks like a previous surveyor has gone around and scraped off parts of the anti-foul. Needs to be repainted as advised in the report. Parts of the hull have non-smooth repairs on them. Parts that have non-smooth repairs. The shaft line looked okay, although probably could do with another paint, and the anode looked to be okay and looked to be working because there was a resistance between the anode and the propeller shaft, tested by a voltmeter. The propeller looked to be in fairly good condition, no play in the bearings, and the propeller didn't have any cavitation on it. The rudder moved freely. There was enough movement in it, and but the fluid level wasn't checked. However, the rear of the boat, as you can see, is slightly rusted, but also in very good condition. The rear ladder wasn't in good condition, but the radar pole was okay, a bit bent, but nothing bad. As you look at the ladder, looked to be a bit rusty, but not horrendous. However, the right hand leg was bent out, so this is advised to be fixed before use. As you walked up, some rust around the handrails, and the handrails were quite loose, but nothing major, just needs to be tightened up and fixed. This is an overview of the boat, with all the sheets kind of tied in knots in the right place, with all the doors opened and the covers on the Ray Marine systems. On the port side, there was a fender locker with the stainless steel tank in it, in fairly good condition. With a manual bilge system in there that worked as we tested it. The stainless steel tank looked okay, looked in good condition. The binnacle in the middle looked to be in okay condition. The drainage system wasn't checked, but looked to be pipes looked to be okay. The gas locker on the starboard side in condition was okay. The gas tanks were empty, but the pipe had a 2007 mark on it, so probably needs to be checked for its condition inside before use. The dials looked to work. I mean, we didn't test the boat speed or anything like that, so they turned on, but that's all we can say about them. We don't know if they actually do work, but the log wheel for the speed did turn around. The heading and the other Ray Marine systems here, the speed, they turned on, and the heading looked to be, it had a dial, a digital dial that showed a number. Obviously that wasn't fully tested. Compass, we checked via a handheld compass, and it looked to be in the right direction. Obviously the gyro wasn't tested on the day. The fuel inlet and the water inlet looked to be scratched slightly, but and the water tightness wasn't tested, but they looked to be in fairly good condition, although the water tank wasn't fully inspected. The other tanks around the vessel were non-existent. The mast and rigging, somebody went up the mast, that was me. Lots of fixings on it, all looked to be protected from galvanic corrosion. The mast looked to be straight. There was some other holes in the mast which weren't used, probably old sheets, but all in all fairly good condition. The shrouds weren't tested, and the chain plate down below, as we'll see later, has got a problem with it, but overall not all bad. A lot of kind of corrosion around the crevices, but nothing that can't be washed off. Probably advised to do before the sale of the boat, just to give it a full clean, because it's been sitting out for a while. Looking towards the front of the boat, the life raft was due for an inspection August 2012, and the blowout release mechanism was due for an inspection as well. The forward hatch had a lot of sun damage on it. This is advised to be replaced before the boat is taken out, because if you get some green seas up there, it could smash through into the other parts of the boat. The anchor up front wasn't tested, but the chain looked to be in mostly okay condition, apart from the first few meters, which were completely rusted together. There was no obvious signs of wear actually on the anchor. It was just the chain that looked to be in a bit of disrepair, as you'd expect. There's the link on the first bit of the chain, stainless steel, so probably not very good because of again different corrosion rates. This is us bringing out the anchor chain.
They're just rusted. Look at that. That's horrendous. That is absolutely rusted away.
Completely rusted together. Really bad condition.
That's insane.
But usual for this. You can swap out the first couple of meters, and then it'll be fine.
And would probably not hold an anchor that size.
There's also a stainless steel shackle.
So there's been corrosion there.
Yeah.
And there's pitting all the way around there. Look. Pitting everywhere.
Yeah. Chain link doesn't look too bad.
Slight ovaling was said on there, but I couldn't really see it. There is a slight ovaling, but just advised to replace that with a material of the same like as the chain, so there's no corrosion there.
Yeah, just a slight bit of distortion.
Engine bay, as Chris was showing us, looked to be in fairly good condition.
Not good.
Serial number couldn't be seen, however. Chris was down there inspecting it. It's a 1.5 litre Thorny Croft, converted, marinised.
Who remembers bringing a torch then?
The wires around the engine were in fairly good condition. They didn't look like they were corroded in any way. The mountings looked like they were mounted straight onto the hull without any rubber mountings underneath. This is very typical of this age of boat, but advised to rub off all the old rust and give them a coat of anti-rust paint. The asbestos around the exhaust looked to be around the drains looked to be in good condition. The fire extinguisher with the dispersion on the bottom looked to be in good condition, however needs to be serviced. The water filter was removed, but again in good condition, with the pipes looking very new, with new Jubilee clips attached. These are fine, just advised to put the filter back in. The shaft area looked to be in okay condition, with again new Jubilee clips, and again the anode underneath being attached electrolytically to the shaft, so that was working. In the aft cabin, the steering gear again looked pretty good. Again, the fluid level wasn't checked, but it was moving freely. Advised to be checked before going out to sea. but not urgent and essential. If it wasn't full, the steering wheel obviously wouldn't move as freely. Aft cabin looked to be okay, but and life rings were there. The windows looked in good condition. Some of the lights didn't work, but just bulbs need to be changed. The radio in the aft cabin wasn't checked, and neither was the phone, but the radio in the mid cabin did work. The smoke detector was checked, but I advised to replace the battery before going out. As looking forward, steering wheel binnacle was okay. The door looked to be in fairly good condition, but probably could do with a paint and varnish before sale. The nav equipment inside to be okay, but we just turned it on, and it just, the Raymarine outside looked to just show a blank screen with a few lines on it, so that needs to be replaced or looked into, or both.
The radar is working.
Inside the radar, we turned it on, as you can see, it worked, and the various different land masses around us looked to be accurate, showing us where we were. So this is working totally.
We are there, so it's working.
Even though the battery didn't hold much charge, because obviously the engine wasn't run.
Just off to the port side, so
It's
that's
alright.
aligned right.
Grand. It looks like it's all working.
The depth meter worked, even though we weren't in water. It showed a reading of lines, so it turned on.
Yeah, display works.
Can't guarantee that that's going to work in the water, but should do. And the GPS worked, and the position was checked when we got back to base. The radio worked. We managed to get an AM signal, and it wasn't very loud, but it did actually work. The actual radio and the receiver did work also, because we had a VHF radio and we checked it. The chain plate fitting on the port side looked to be in bad condition. There was leakage inside it. There is a known problem with this, so it's advised to get a structural surveyor, boat surveyor, down to the boat to check this out before the boat's taken out into the sea. We couldn't check this as we're not boat surveyors, so we can't guarantee the structural rigidity of that chain plate fitting. As you can see, moisture has got in there and has slightly rusted away some of the components.
So the expiry date on here is
there was some flares inside the boat with the expiry date of 2014. There was quite a lot of flares. That one had an expiry date of 2013 of that month, so that's out of date now. So we assumed that lots of the other flares and smoke grenades would have gone out of date. This one had an out of date of 2014. Hopefully that container was all kept dry, and it was, because if it wasn't kept dry, the flares and the grenades wouldn't have worked. They would have failed if you tried to use it, because they would have had moisture in them. The fire extinguisher needed a check. Most of the fire extinguisher needed a check. The chain plate at the front of the vessel, the chain compartment at the front of the vessel looked in okay condition. The toilet worked. Running water worked. The pipes looked in okay condition. At the end of the survey, I went up the mast, and all the mast looked pretty good. I just want to say thank you to some of my friends for the pictures they gave me. Thank you very much for watching.